between the episodes on Eisenholm. I started the day with a light bit of reconfiguring on the mechanical room in an effort to save on some extra materials. There wasn't much material saved, but it's better than it was. While positioning the pottery wheel and digging out a channel for the axle line, I stumbled upon a tin vein that had been mere feet away from us the entire time. Well, of course I dug it out. I'll worry about filling in some of the new opening once our metal storage room has been carved out. Afterward, it was time for take 3 on Cinnabar. Setting sail once more out to the spot under the ocean, I dove down, suspicious that I might have been searching just a tad too low in the world. My suspicions were soon confirmed when only 10 blocks above where I'd been digging, I got a hit on the prospecting pick. Much mining later and nearly 2 stacks of Cinnabar richer, I headed back home. Upon returning home and crushing up some of the Cinnabar, I started up a batch of 1,500 units of copper for a hopper, elbow chute, and a bunch more nails and strips for future doors and chests. While the metal was heating up, I popped down to the farmhouse basement to get our red dye going. Quickly running back, perhaps too quickly, I had a little sit down to wait for the copper to finish heating, and then I got everything poured. With ingots cooling, it was time to deal with some meat. I got to cooking up a few more meals to keep myself fed for the tasks to come, the first of which was smithing the now cooled ingots into a hopper and another elbow chute to automate input and output for the pulverizer and quern. With all that in place, it was time to set out on yet another journey, this time in search of the elusive chromite. Having not yet come across even a whiff of chromite so far, I decided to start heading around the mountainous quarry area to the south. Around the southern side of the mountain, in an area that we had earlier deemed Turnip Valley, it got foggy. Amazing for atmosphere, terrifying for footing. Many prospecting taps later, the first signs of chromite were found. Down into the bowels of the earth we go. After only a little digging through a deep copper vein, the chromite was located. Much quicker than I had expected. A good few stacks of the stuff later, it was time to return home, collecting a few pieces of saltpeter on the ascent. Little did I know I'd need far more than that paltry sum of saltpeter. But for the moment, homeward bound we be. And that brings us to an introduction of the very first... Am I reading this right? Yeah? Okay. To the very first sponsor of the channel, Lagless. Okay, commercial voiceover, here we go. Lagless provides server hosting with full mod support for games such as Minecraft, Factorio, Satisfactory, Terraria, and of course, Vintage Story. If you're interested, click the link in the description below to let them know that I sent you. And if you sign up, be sure to use code NOLAG at checkout to receive 20% off your first month subscription. Now, I'll be honest, I was a little hesitant about the idea of sponsors at first. The last thing I'd want to do is be beholden to a brand or have it affect what I do. But Lev and the rest of the team over at Lagless seem like good people. Very community feedback focused, kind of like the Vintage Story dev team. And I've got full creative control over the ad spots, like I wrote that as simple as it was. So that makes me feel pretty confident. So now with all that businessy stuff out of the way, that now brings us to today. Where before we get into chroming all this tan, it's a little cramped down here, don't you think? I certainly think it is. So let's remedy that. Let's also put this raft away. We're not going to need it where we're going. Yeah, maybe not there. Let's take advantage of this bright, shiny April Fool's Day morning. Yes, it's April 1st. We're only a month away from completing year 3. Well, the 3rd year, I should say. It's technically year... No, it is year 3. Huh. It's our 3rd year, but that makes it year 2. Surely I haven't lived an extra year. No, it's the kids who are wrong. Anyway, I'm gonna grab myself a little bit of dirt, and we're going somewhere over here. We've got our workshop entrance there, yet to be done, but this is kind of going to be our industrial area. Gotta keep the clangs and the smells away from the city folk. I guess the townsfolk. Me. I'm the only one here. And part of that, because we've got our little hole going down to the lava pit inside, is going to be covering up this opening here, which is very dangerous and could lead to our demise. I can't pick up those ladders, so they'll stay for now. At least it's a bit of a safer spot now. But somewhere over here, nestled in, hidden a little bit behind the ridge to stop the noise from spreading over. I think I will keep that ridge, actually. That's a good idea. We're gonna have ourselves a tannery. That's right, a dedicated place. The first, well, no, forgot about the masonry lodge. The second dedicated building, forgot about the workshop. The third dedicated building for a different type of craft. Fourth, I guess, if the farmhouse counts for farming. But there's going to be crops spread far and wide, so I don't know if that's going to count. That's more of our starter home. So we've got to pick a nice little spot to put the tannery, and we do have a good little divot out. I think that's a little pond. We're probably going to pave over that. But honestly, not far from the entrance. Right here is as good a spot as any, honestly. What's the backside of this ridge looking like? Like a whole lot of nothing. Okay. Let's clear away a little bit of foliage. A little wasteful since I can't pick up anything. I'm full. Should put this chromium away. Chromite. And copper. But no, let's get ourselves a footprint here first. This divot will probably get filled in just to smooth the land a little bit. But I think right here is going to be a good spot. And not only is the tannery going to serve as a place for, well, tanning leather, it's also going to serve as a spot to hold all of our barrels of dye. So we can dye our cloth, our leather, whatever we feel like. So we can make our cloth red, or blue, or even brown. So let's get a footprint in place, shall we? We use shale stones to mark out something? Yes. That's our entrance right there. Before we get too carried away, yeah, let's clear out this inventory just a little bit. It's a little too full. By a little too full, I mean it's entirely full. Ooh. I have much saltpeter. Look at those 7 pieces I got. That's quicklime. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, might have to remedy that situation at some point. Actually, while I'm here, we do have conglomerate brick. Kind of what I'm thinking we'll make a lot of this out of, as well as some of this dry stone. Yes, we are pilfering a little bit from our castle materials, but we have tons of conglomerate available, so I'm not all that worried about it. What else do I need? I gotta put that away. Put that away. I don't need that. Don't need none of that. We are gonna need more saltpeter. That's should have been grabbing that when I had the chance. Whoops. Is that the sounds of freezing rain? Oh, nature is healing. Spring is on its way. Technically here, but it's still cold. Well, no, in looking through these chests, I have neglected saltpeter. Alright then. So completing chrome tan leather might not be on the docket for today. We're gonna need saltpeter. I didn't put the bricks together. I should have done that. It would have been a good thing to do, a very helpful and handy thing to do that I'm going to need to do. So let's do. Oh, the snow is beginning to melt. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Where the snow it is melting and songs I am belting. I fell on the ground. No, that didn't rhyme, but I don't really care. Alright. I'm just kind of prepping a little bit of a outline here, just so I can see where everything's going to sit. We're not going to build the entirety of this little leatherworking area today, because that would be a lot. But we're at least going to get the platform where we're going to put all our barrels, so we have an outdoor place that, when I say an outdoor place, that actually makes it seem very unsafe. It'll kind of be unsafe, as I already hear a shiver. Shiver? Are you down the lava hole? Oh, I hope he's down the lava hole, not up here waiting to bite my giblets. Let's work fast. Okay, well that's about all the brick that we've got, but this is going to be the footprint for a little bit of a house with the cooking pots that we're going to need to wax harden our leather. Because once we've soaked it in our lime water, scraped it, and then soaked it in our chromium solution, then we'll have to cook it in some hot wax, which I guess is really, technically, the only reason it's sturdy leather. Because by all accounts, vegetable tanned leather, which is the regular leather that we have in-game, should, in theory, be sturdier than regular untreated chrome tanned leather. Chrome tan might have its pliability and flexibility, but veg tan has its structural rigidness, which technically makes vegetable tan leather better for backpacks. Chrome tan will look nice, but it will degrade with age. Veg tan will create a nice patina and just look better with every passing decade. Unless, you rip it open or something like that. That's just me and my limited leather working experience. I'm starting to shiver, which is not great. It'll eventually start to warm up. I'm guessing a lot of my clothes are tattered, so there's not a whole lot, well, good condition for some of the winter clothes. That's okay, soon enough it'll be time to take them off. But this is at least the outdoor area where all of our barrels are gonna sit, so I think we can start moving some of them out here, honestly. The rift activity is calm, so I will be calm. This oak tree's gonna have to go. We have the room. With spring on the horizon, I am going to have to look at either modifying the whole lot of tree seeds mod or looking for another one to up our tree seed percentage. Wrong room, that's a force of habit. Now, even though I'm going to be moving all of the leatherworking up and outside, this little basement barrel room will still remain a basement barrel room. It's just going to be more for pickling, consulting meat, and housing Larry. He likes it in here. He's happy. I promise. I say, casually carrying an axe. Okay. This is going to be a little bit of a trek back and forth. And hopefully all will go well. I can't open doors. Well, we're going to let the wildlife in. And this will be a couple trips in the dark of the night. So I'll see you all in a moment. Okay, I think that's all the barrels that I had to move from the basement, but we need a lot more barrels to have enough storage space for everything that I want to have here. And though we may not use the volume of barrels I plan to have here, at least having them in place for if we do have a massive batch, that'll be handy. As well as a barrel for each of the 11 different colors of dye, 2 of which will be blue, because there's regular blue and woad blue. But when I'm organizing the colors, once I've got all the barrels in place, I will have the blue over at the side, because since it's an uneven amount, the last barrel closest to the door to the little house we're going to have, that's where I'll put the extra little secondary blue barrel. So that way if it ever changes and they both just become blue dye in general, it's very easy without ruining the pattern that we'll have set up here to get rid of it. Got a plan for eventualities. Except I didn't plan by counting the barrels to remember how many I have to craft. At least 17 barrel. And then probably more to fill up the basement again. Let's go for an even 20? 20 sounds good. Finally close this door, stop letting the heat out. Saw? You've seen better days. You're gonna see worse days soon enough. Let's use the rest of our walnut. There we go. In the light of day, and as the snow, unfortunately, begins to reaccumulate, our barrels outside are in place. Now, before we can get to making that chrome tan leather, the saltpeter situation. I know we found bits of saltpeter here and there, but we're gonna have to go collect a bunch of it because I didn't realize that we were going to need it. Because I didn't reread the crafting recipe before beginning this episode. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. But I merely plan to be delayed. How you doing, Larry? Like all the extra room? Okay, goodbye. Alright, inventory is clear. Let's get that saltpeter. To adventure! Ow. Smacked my head in the wall. Before we actually get onto all that adventure, though, I just looked up to double check that there was nothing else I was missing from the recipe, and it turns out there was one crucial aspect I failed to read. Those medium scraped hides that we have are completely useless for chrome-tanned leather. You can only use large or huge. Why? I'm guessing to stop you from being able to mass-produce it with domesticated animals. But it's unfortunate. Most of our hides that we have available are all medium. We have 3 huge, so we can at least use that to make some leather. But that means we're going to have to do a little bit of hunting while we're gathering saltpeter, so let's stock up on our arrows and spears again, and, well, hope we come across a bear or a dozen. Not at once. Never at once. That'd be dangerous. Deadly even. Foolish. And we are not fools here. Who am I kidding? I totally am. That's what I live for. Tomfoolery is my bread and butter. Alright. Armed with knowledge and spears, now we set out for hides and this Peter of the Salt. And hopefully not fall down any massive holes in the earth. So, close the door, and away we go. Now there's a couple holes under the castle, and I can't remember which ones I've gone down before and explored, but I know I've come across saltpeter quite a few times in my travels, and I just never really thought to pick it up. I didn't plan on making bombs, so I didn't think I'd ever need the stuff. Where are these pits? That's one of them. Hey, Peter. Let's take a little trek down here. Ooh boy, okay. Well, we got sulfur, so that's good. Ooh, that goes down deep. We'll mark the sulfur, but I don't necessarily... See, this is what I'm afraid of. I don't wanna go down too deep into something that's tricky to get out of. I'm gonna try and find the smoothest and easiest little cave to go into that probably has it, because the stuff is everywhere, I'm pretty sure. Oh, that's a polar bear. Did the bear fall down? I've been down here before. Bear? More sulfur. There's a bear. Well, this is precarious. Ooh. I'll take that. It's scared. It's confused. This feels kind of cruel. This feels like an episode of Lost. Why is there a polar bear here? I'll take the 3 large hides, or the 3 huge hides even. That's fantastic. Thank you. Your sacrifice will not be in vain. Okay, now where did I come from, and how do I get out of here? There's things here now. I would very much like to not be down here anymore. Saltpeter? Peter? Hey, I'm not seeing any around here. There's snow. Those were the 2 there. What do we have? Cave entrance? Worth checking out. Just gotta avoid the wolves. Their skin is too small for my skin collection. Okay. Oh, is this the cave? I've definitely explored it before. Peter? Oh, cool. Big empty dark abyss. Love that. Peter? Oh, okay. Maybe not as much of an abyss. It's just real dark here. The light does not travel very far. Terrifying. Hey, our first little bit of saltpeter. Beautiful. Apart from the neighbors coming in to, you know, show me their punching collection. 3 caves to hit our first bit of saltpeter. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Now look, you guys, I don't want any trouble, okay? I just want my beater. I remember this cave. The last time I was here, I ran panicking, and I'm probably going to do that now because I'm realizing how low my health is. What was that? A stack and a piece? You know, that's good enough for now for me. Okay. Well, apart from if I can happen to come across another bear, the saltpeter expedition was actually fairly quick. Didn't expect it to take very long, though. I mean, it's fairly common in a lot of places from what I've seen. Now, one question I have is that if there was a male polar bear, is there a female polar bear somewhere? Is there a Mrs. Coca-Cola that I can skin? Sure, it'd be pretty obvious if there was one. A big white bear would be a little difficult to be stealthy, I would imagine. Especially not in a Arctic tundra. I'm not hearing any other bears, so it might have just been the one. Unfortunate. I could do with more skin. Oh well. 3 huge hides is 3 huge hides. Get that soaking in some lime water. Because let's see. Salted hide. Oh, you can just preserve them. Okay, so I'm going to need 30 liters of lime water. There's this saltpeter. Let's pop that in there since I'm not going to need to worry about that. So, stack and 8. Not terrible. Got a bunch of sulfur I can grind down too. That's quick lime. I need slow lime. Just give me regular lime. My hammer's in the workshop. Running around, going back and forth. Some things never change. Do 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 boo boo. This is my favorite game of roulette. I know exactly where it's gonna land. It's gonna land on lime. Okay, that is such a nice, convenient thing. Just coming straight out of there, right to here. I also realized that I made a little bit of a miscalculation with these barrels here, and a couple of these can honestly probably go back into the house. Since once we've got scraped hide, the 2 stages for getting our chrome tanned leather, they all require doing it in a cooking pot and not in a barrel. So really, I could actually just reorganize this where instead of having 3 weak and 3 strong tannin barrels here, I could just have 6 lime water barrels, and then 4 weak tannin, 4 strong tannin. And then the chromium ones go into the house. That's gonna be here. Eventually. Soon. Very soon. But in the meantime, let's grab ourselves... Ooh, it's wet. A bit of water. And we'll just fill up this barrel here. There we go. And just to use up the rest of this lime, let's just prepare ourselves another bucket. And there we go. And there we go. Just getting the last of our lime that we just ground up. Put all in there. And amalgamated into 1 barrel of 48 liters. And with those, let's just pop that there. Let's reorganize these barrels just a little bit. Pop that there. That there. And that. There. And that. There. There we go. That makes a lot more sense now. And I could put little labels above the barrel sections just so I have a bit of a visual guide if I ever forget. I've never forgotten anything in my life, though, right? Never. Not once. Okay, let's move on before the truth is revealed that I forget things all the time. Ooh. So speaking of not forgetting, before I forget, let's actually make a few more bricks so I can make that little house to prepare our chromium. Chromium sulfate in particular. I'm gonna need a hammer, aren't I? Maybe. We shall see. Dang it. Do I have a spare hammer in here? No. No, I don't. Alright. Back where we just were. Back and forth. It's always back and forth. Never forth and back. That would be ridiculous. Starting to realize I'm gonna need multiple hammers in multiple places, I'm thinking. That's a backup hammer. You know what? Good enough. Also got a shovel here. Why do I have another shovel here? Got shovels everywhere, but not hammers? What am I doing with my life? There we go. Bricks extraordinaire. The way it should be. The snow has melted from the door. Nature is healing. Ah, that wonderful moment where you actively see the snow melting. Spring returning to the land. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've already mapped out the ground here. Good, good, good. And that will be a chimney there. I'll sort out the details a little bit later on here. This is just kind of a basic framework, so I have something. And once I've solidified exactly what kind of wood I want to use for this structure, then I'll actually replace this all with wood here. But for now, pack dirt floor because it's a floor. you know what? No. Even for the moment, I'm going to pick a little bit nicer starting material for where our cooking pots are going to sit. Do I want to line the walls with them? No, no, no. Let's go grab something a little bit different so it's not all brick. After I put up a little bit of a wall here. Yeah, just to start getting a little bit more of the shape, because this will be our pelts area, where this is all of our dyeing and leathery area. Everything to do with dye and cloth and skin. I'm in my skin era. It's skin-teresting. Okay, that was a little bad. Not every joke lands. That's okay. Take a few of these extra cooking pots. Do I have any others? Just 4 extras? No, I can't take the decorative ones from the table. Unless... these bowls. Yeah. Yeah, that works out nicely. Bowls make a lot more sense to sit on the table. Now I have my 6 cooking pots. Do I have 6 grass? I have 3 grass. Let's further delay our grabbing of the actual materials to put our cooking pots on by grabbing the grass we're going to need, and then some, to make the fires that we're going to put on top of said blocks. And, ooh, aged polished rock. You know what? Those could look pretty nice. Maybe with some aged conglomerate underneath the countertops? Now, I don't know what temperature this is going to have to get up to, so this might require a little bit of experimentation. Not sure why I brought these. I did not bring a chisel or a hammer. I've never forgotten a thing in my life. Can't even say that with a straight face. Let's just put the fires together here. There we go. And I'll have a little bit of a smoke hood or a covering that goes over it that will connect in, or at least make it look like it connects into the chimney that's going to taper as it goes up. And I'm still trying to figure out a roof design that I'm happy with. I do want to use some of the new wood shingles for this little tannery building. Only problem is, I don't necessarily want it to be the generic 45-degree angle we've had for all the other roofs so far. I want to try and use the less steep roofs. Only trouble is, all of the disparate pieces of it that would work very well if they connected together don't connect together. So a perfect 27.5-degree roof slope is a little out of the question. So we're going to have to get creative. Probably with chiseling. It's part of why I've got this as just basic blocks for the moment, and I'll do all the detail once I've sorted out the detail. Have a little snack. There we go. And now let's take a look here. So we're going to need sulfuric acid at first. To make sulfuric acid, we're going to need, for every liter of water, 1 saltpeter and 2 powdered sulfur. And that'll give us 1 liter of sulfuric acid. And then from there, once we've got the acid, it's 2 liters of the stuff with 2 crushed chromite to get us 1 liter of chromium sulfate. And then from there, with our total of 6 huge scraped hides, the 3 that we have and the 3 that are currently soaking, and it'll take 3 liters each, so 3 times 6, we are looking at 18. We're going to need 18 liters of that, which means we're going to need 36 liters of sulfuric acid, which means we're going to need a stack plus 4 of powdered sulfur and 36 saltpeter. And to figure out, I guess, how many liters we can fit in a cooking pot. Does it have to be in a bowl? I haven't cooked much with water. Never made a soup before. It's not in Vintage Story. Oh, wow. The snow's pretty well almost gone. A couple little bits of ice here and there still, but I think we're going to be ready to plant some crops soon. So we'll get to that before the end of the episode for sure. Get ourselves a little bit of flax going. Making sulfuric acid and then planting crops. Don't put the crops with the sulfuric acid. Hello? Oh. Oh, there's a Bowtorn in the attic. We'll leave him be. Okay, 6 there. 6, I'm gonna need a lot of this. Can I just grind you with a hammer? No, I cannot. So, 36. There we go, and we'll grind. Turns into 2 powdered sulfur, so I'm not even gonna need. Okay. We've got our saltpeter, we've got our sulfur, and we're gonna need to crush up a bit of chromite here. When pulverized turns into 0.3, so we're not gonna get 1-to-1. Well, we're not gonna need chromite for much of anything else. Okay. Chromite's literally just going to be for our leather, pretty much. Unless they come up with another use for it, like, I don't know, chroming the front end of an elk amino. Okay. So luckily I've got the storage options here all squared away, so I can very easily just... The wind is calm. Of all the times the wind could be calm, this is not the time. Well, I suppose we'll just kind of let that sit for a moment. And let's cook up this sulfuric acid first. Should be close enough that if that begins to do things, we'll be able to come back to it, and it should stay loaded because it'll be fairly close. I needed the sulfur pulverized. That's what I needed pulverized. Alright. Okay, so let's put that on hold. I'm gonna need that pulverized first, please. Thank you. Yeah, can't proceed unless you start moving. We've got light air, come on. Oh, it's back to calm. Oh boy, okay. Well, I guess I'll just sit here a moment and see if the wind picks up. I need to do chemistry. Or I could just preemptively get everything else in the cooking pots, and once the sulfur's ready and the wind cooperates, then I can put it all together. Oh, we're medium rift activity. That's no bueno. Light air? Please, I can't do this manually. At least I don't think this... Does this do it? The quern does it. Alright. Quern it is. There we go, when I'm halfway done on my own. Yeah, I see. Okay. I had to earn it, did I? Oh. I see. That's going to require steel pounder caps. This is very, very demandingly complex for chrome tan leather. There are many facets to this new sturdy leather that, oh boy, did I not take into account. Okay. Steel? Nope. Don't have any steel. Okay. No steel ingots? I used all my steel ingots. We're gonna need to do a batch of steel. But that's all well and good. Okay. Can I at least make all the sulfuric acid I'm gonna need? A torch. I need a torch. Fire? Fire? Oh, jeez, why did you startle me? Get out of here. You don't belong here, boy. Okay, let's start one of them first. Just so I can see at what temperature this will actually cook at. So we know what kind of fuel we're going to need for our sulfuric acid. Uh-oh. There we go. Okay. If I have to guess, that was probably 135, 140 Celsius that it started to cook at. Will this 4 firewood be enough? Hey. I'm dealing with dangerous chemicals here. Careful. I'll be your friend here. You have anything good in his pockets? Ooh, bits of string. Okay, I think that'll do. I'm sciencing! Well, the initial 4 firewood in the construction of this is definitely enough. So we'll get these. Can you please? Sir, science waits for nobody. I can't believe this. I refuse to die on my own property like this, not to a bear. Where are my bandages? I don't have any bandages, do I? Nope, no bandages. Gonna have to heal from this the old-fashioned way. Time. Patience. Grievous pain. Maybe I'll just sleep. Maybe in the morning it won't be so dangerous outside. 2 in the morning? Don't want to sleep too long. A brisk 5:30 start. Alright. Still medium, but at least it's daytime, so hopefully it'll be bright enough that there won't be constant visitors interrupting science. I was intending for these blocks to be the base, under a little platform of this aged polished, but for the moment, they're gonna act more as rain covers. Once we've got a roof on here, then we can get everything looking all pretty. This is just what we've got on hand for function. Speaking of function, I think it's about time we get ourselves another batch of steel going, don't you think? We can get those steel pounder caps, so we can pound down that chromite, so we can make that chromium sulfite. Then we can make our leather. Finally.
I just wanted a nice, pretty Prada bag. Is that so much to ask? Probably. It's the price we pay for fashion and storage. Mostly storage.
Steel time. 4 iron ingots. We're going to need far more than that, aren't we? Hello, blooms.
Every step leads to more steps. It's like walking. You just keep stepping.
Alright, well, I guess we have to fill up the charcoal kiln here and give it its inaugural firing, because apparently black coal is not good enough. Unless... Where's my coke? Where'd my coke go? I didn't use that in the firing, did I? Did I pop it in a chest somewhere? Hope I didn't accidentally use it instead of black coal. The pixel art is very similar. Oh boy.
Outcome's not looking all that good. Eat a snack to cover up the panic. Nope, that's cassiterite. That's other stuff.
Uh-oh. My coke is gone. Whether it disappeared or I used it, I'm not entirely sure. Okay. Well, in that case, time to do a little bit of math. And we are going to fill up the charcoal pit for its first inaugural firing. Give me a moment while I calculate numbers. Okay, 5 times 5 times 4 layers is 100. Need 100 stacks of firewood, which is 50 stacks of wood. Do I have that much? Let's see, there's 16 logs in a stack, so 800. I have, say, 2, 5, 19, 629. I don't have enough wood to fill the charcoal pit. Okay, well, what do we have on here? 890 durability. I guess we're gonna go cut down some trees. Alright, between the empty inventory and the chest on my back, we should hopefully be okay. Now, where to go? I think there was large oak logs somewhere across the water. Is it smart to swim, or should I take the raft? I should take a raft. No, actually, you know what would be a smarter use of this? There are a lot of trees over by the edge of the castle, in that foresty area. And those are gonna have to get cut down at some point if we want to make a pathway over to a dock area, so clear cutting that area, at least to an extent. It's going to help us build up a supply of wood right now, as well as clear cut and prepare an area for later. So we're going to be doubly productive, and we're going to go cut down a forest. Also, we can make that sweet, sweet firewood, so we can light up the charcoal pit, so we can make more charcoal, so we can use that charcoal to make more steel, so we can use steel to make steel powder caps, so we can use the powder caps to crush up our chromite, and then we can mix our chromite with our sulfuric acid, so we can make our chrome-tanned leather. There are far more steps to this leather than I ever anticipated. Alright, log. Wood cutting time. Part of the reason why I'm doing this out in the forest here and not just cutting down the logs that we have in our little tree harvesting section out in the field closer to home. Oh, jeez. Why? Why? Go away. Oh, it is a spawning ground under there. Just go a little further into the woods, out of his line of sight. Nowhere's safe. Can't a man cut trees in peace? I just wanted to make leather. Is that so much to ask? But anyway, as I was saying, the reason why we're not cutting down the trees closer to home is because the tree seeds mod still isn't working. And so these wild trees that I'm not all that attached to, those are the ones that are coming down. Deforestation is my favorite ecological crime. That'd be weird for someone to have a favorite ecological crime. Don't you come up to me, Drifter. I hear you. You smack me, I'll be quite cross. You leave me alone, I'll give you candy. Guess who just lost Halloween? Alright, boys, come on. Come now. None of the grimble grumbles. No, shoot. Don't shoot! I'm unarmed. Ow. Not so brave once I run up on you, huh? That's what I thought. Coward. No. No. I see nighttime during a medium rift activity was not the smartest call. Oh, hello, Larch. You can stay there. You're not my quarry. You're not going to stack with the other stuff I've got. Ooh, that's a large drop. Ow. Alright. So one of the beautiful things about this is, as much as this is very roundabout where one task leads to several more, at the end of the day, it really shows how beautifully interconnected all of the systems in Vintage Story really are. Because every time we do one thing, there's another system that we need to touch upon. So this has already touched on several mechanics today. Let's pop a couple stacks here. And now one thing I'm always going to want to do, just to make it more visually distinct while I'm, firing different loads of logs in here, is I want to make sure the logs are oriented so that the ends are facing toward the window. That way, when I look inside, I can see if it's the ends of logs or if it looks like charcoal, and it makes it just that much easier to tell when it's all done. Not that it won't already be obvious when the wood color turns into just charcoal, but just a higher contrast seeing the lighter ends of the logs. One log leads to another. Well, we're starting to get there. I don't really want to cut up the stack that's almost complete, because the last thing I want to do is forget to put the extra couple logs on the top and have one tiny little air gap that makes all of that burn right up. That'd be tragic. That'd be sad. I'd cry. Not a little, but a lot. Like a lot. So let's go collect more trees, maybe when it's morning. Or we'll just take our maple reserve from the basement, I don't know. It's probably a safer idea. Until the sun comes up. Or rift activity goes down. We'll just take these from the basement here, because, well, we do have a lot of maple in there, and we're going to need a lot of maple when we start doing walkways and such on the castle walls. It's not going to be too difficult once we've fixed our tree seed situation to just grow a whole lot more trees. Especially considering the stockpile of seeds that we already have. Okay, we're close. We're close. We just need 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 more stacks. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Almost 7. And a new axe. We also need a new axe. 7 more stacks and a brand new axe. And we'll get our first batch of charcoal going. Ooh, I mean, our first batch in the new charcoal pit. Okay. That was not much. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's call that 9. We need 5 more stacks. Oh, there's so many of you guys outside. The drifter harvest is coming in nicely. Spring is here. Nature is healing. Alright, let's take 1 of these ingots. 2 of these ingots. 4 of these ingots. That's 32. That's good for 2 batches of steel. Alright. And now, as much as I won't need them right away, I'm gonna make 4. That's right. 4 new axes. Then we'll have a few that we can store away and have just for when we come across a situation just like this where we're gonna need to cut down a lot of trees. Because, oh boy, as we start getting into the interiors of the castle and places with a lot more wood, we're gonna be cutting down a lot of trees. So eventually we will go through 4 axes. It'll be nothing by the end of it. We're just prepping for the future. That's what spring cleaning's all about. I'm not exactly cleaning. It just happens to be in spring. That was a bad analogy. Still doing it. There we go. 4 axes. Ready to go. And let's christen the first one by getting the rest of these stacks all chopped up. Okay, and so I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more stacks. And then it's full. Well, and then a single log to light the thing with. Back out to the forest.
Gotta make our way to the trees so we can anger the Lorax.
Lorax ain't the boss of me. I'll do what I want to those trees.
If he speaks for the trees, does he pay their property taxes?
Really?
Why you hurt me so?
This is what I've been reduced to. Pain.
Hey, resin.
It's pretty neat. I should check on those buckets. Not now. Task at hand. Now, this wasn't exactly my intention going into this and clear-cutting basically almost every maple that I see in this forest, but since there's going to be a lot of maple incorporated into the castle itself, the forest surrounding it being devoid of most maple would kind of start to make a lot of sense, or at least the maple is diminished. I might leave a few stumps here and there, or place them as decoration later, just to show how much maple was cut down in the making of such a large-scale castle. Then again, replanting and having an abundance of maple would also indicate why maple was used. Maybe I'm just making up excuses now. Am I just trying to justify deforestation? Does that make me bad people? There's a good chunk of forest that is now not all that foresty. Yeah, we're starting to get a much clearer line of sight. Gonna have to make a pretty smooth path going down out to the coastline. We can kind of see the ocean there. Eventually we'll carve a path down, make a little dock area there. But that is a bit of a ways off. Alright, back to the workshop it is. Let's get this charcoal pit firing. And instead of going through bumpy terrain down below, we're gonna go across this lush, open field that is our castle courtyard. I'm looking forward to making more progress on that castle now that we've got warmer temperatures. Speaking of that, the temperature's warm enough we should plant flax. After charcoal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's full. Take the torch, take a grass, and a single log to make enough firewood for a campfire. Okay.
Get out of the way, lantern.
There we go. Charcoal pit unlit. Alright, it recognizes it. That's a good sign. It's lit. Okay. There we go. That should, in theory, be cooking now. Yep, we got smoke on the floor. This is a good sign. So we'll give that some burn time. And in the meantime, let's finally go plant some of that flax, because we're going to need a lot of it. Real soon. Today truly has been the trials and tribulations of fabric and leather. All sorts of clothing materials. Let's replenish some of our wood here. Gather our flax seeds. And cabbage. We're going to want to put our cabbage in. Really? I want to start farming, and you spawn right above? At least you're above the bees. Bing bong. This field hasn't really fully recovered. Let's check up top. Maybe one day put an actual gate there. These are also not great. Okay, some of these spots are okay for potassium. This farmland needs some banana. Okay, enough of this is actually pretty well replenished. There's a couple spots here where the potassium's still down at 66%, much like the lower field. I don't think it's enough of a worry. I'm just gonna start planting ourselves some flax. And if a piece here and there takes a little longer to grow, well, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Here we go. Oh, get off my farmland. No. Okay, we gotta plant these quick and get back inside. They'll fertilize the fields. Oh, poo. Nah. No. I was so close to home. You know, they do say that the majority of accidents happen at the home. Now, with our cabbage and flax planted, what else might we need? Maybe more soybeans? Maybe onions, since that's really the only phosphorus crop that we have. Apart from parsnips, but you know what? Yeah. We'll do our soybeans, and then whatever's left over, that'll be onion. Oh. I still have spots left. Alright, something else. I guess these will be parsnips, since we don't really need the phosphorus for much else. You know what? We could do some rye. Why not? The nitrogen is just for the cabbage, I believe. So there's plenty of room still to rotate our cabbage around. A little bit of rye, and I guess no parsnips. And there we go. And I guess throughout the spring here, we're going to need to expand our fields a bit. Add more farmland, and maybe set up a proper actual rotation for the nutrients, since we're going very heavy on the flax. Though once the windmills are done and we've got some clothing, the flax demand is really going to slow down. So then we'll actually have the room to be able to do some proper rotation and keep our nutrients all well and good. Maybe at some point make a greenhouse, and maybe at some point use this compost we've been putting together all this time to make some terra preta. That'd be terra pretty good. I'll see myself out once again. I'm stuck. So anyway, now that we've got a bunch of passive things on the go, we've got our crops growing and being rained on actively, so they're well moisturized, they're in their lane, they're thriving, happy. Some of them are lacking nutrients a little bit, but we won't talk about that. We've got the charcoal burning away, or at least the wood that's going to soon become charcoal. And beyond that, if I'm not mistaken, I believe everything else is just waiting on parts, really, for being able to finish up our chrome tan leather, so we probably won't get to that by the end of the year. It's April 5th right now, so we've only got a few days. And a batch of steel? Well, that's going to take a few days in and of itself. So the chrome tanned leather is probably going to be a start of next year kind of deal. So what do we do in the meantime while all this is going on? I say we pickle. I did start this series way back in episode 1, finding that salt spire and saying, hey, we're going to be the pickle kings. And what have we done? Nary a single batch of pickled anything. It's a shame, really. So much salt. So much potential. Pickle potential. Did I just push up my glasses? Like that guy from Evangelion? I'm anime now. I've never watched Evangelion. Don't be mad. Okay. Now, Larry, I don't know what we're going to do with you. Do you want to just stay there? We just have to barrel around you? Regardless, let's make some more barrels. Oh, Larry, I'm so sorry. Didn't mean to crush your legs. There we go. Larry's going to need a new home. You know what, Larry? You can... There you go, dude. Be cozy. Pop a couple extra barrels there. Now, apart from the opening to the doorway and the spot here for our water source, we've pretty well filled up barrels. What shall we pickle? Pickled pepper. Those haven't been implemented yet. So I'm pretty sure brine plus one vegetable. That's pretty well the recipe for all of these, I believe. 1 liter per vegetable. Yes. And brine is 2 liters of water for 1 salt. Okay, so if we want to set these all up as brine, do we want to set them all up as brine? How much do we have in terms of vegetables to actually pickle? These ones are going to go bad soon. They might not be a bad candidate to put in there. Ooh, those are starting to spoil. Got a lot of onion. Ooh, these are... Some of these are going to have to go. Okay, you know what? Let's start pickling everything that's about to go bad. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 is 250 salt. Whether we have enough vegetables to go into all that brine, I don't know. Do I have any of that salt on me? Did I just use all that salt? I believe I used all that salt, didn't I? I probably used all the salt. Okay. Halite grinds into 2. 250 divided by 2 is 125. So we can fill all those barrels with brine with 3 less than 2 stacks of halite rock. Let's head on out to the salt mines. Oh, Oh, there's creatures abound. We got shivers, we got wolves, we got cattails need harvesting. We got our ice bridge that's melting. Oh no, we're gonna have to touch liquid. My socks will get wet. I hate having wet socks. There aren't many things in life worse than wet socks. Not sure why the first thing that popped into my head at the mention of wet socks was they have a bad mouthfeel. I've never put wet socks in my mouth and, I have no intention of that, no. Apologize for that mental image. Don't eat wet socks. It shouldn't even have to be a PSA. Why does my brain put such horrid images in my mind? You know what, while we're here, we can get ourselves a little bit of sylvite, why not? Yeah. Powdered sylvite. That is an ingredient for potash, which actually increases potassium. Oh, we're going to grab some of this for certain. It seems this venture was twofold in its productivity. You know what? Even though I only really need 2 stacks, let's maybe grab a little bit of extra. Save ourselves a bit of a trip the next time we need salt. Okay, grabbed a couple extra stacks. That'll be good for now. And now it's time to get back over there and finally pickle things. Oh hi, nice to catch up with you. We're here in the basement. And now it's time to make the brine. Do I have my bucket? Where's my bucket? I think I left my bucket at the new leather station. Alright, let's make a new one.
I have cattails for rope. I have cattails for rope.
Rope. And bucket. Okay, let's start filling these up with brine. There we go. So now for the all-important part. Let's preserve some vegetables. We'll grab some of them that are about to start going bad, which I think we're over here. We've got, 10 days left on a lot of these. Okay, so we can put 50 per barrel. Okay. You know what? I've got enough crocks of food. I'm gonna brine everything. Why not? 41 carrots, doesn't matter if it's a weird number, I'll just do it anyway. That is already salted meat, good for 11 years, we're fine, we're good. I don't think I can turn those into alcohol, but I don't think I can pickle the apples. And even if I could, I really don't think I'd want to. That sounds disgusting. So let's never do that, and we will never speak of pickled apples again. Okay. So all but one of the barrels is sealed, and that's pretty much all of the vegetables that we had that hadn't already started to spoil. So we've accomplished something. Let's go see if we can accomplish more. Alright, let's check on that charcoal pit, because I can't quite remember how long that takes. Really, the charcoal pit is kind of the crux of everything that we're doing at the moment, and that looks like charcoal to me. Shovel? I knew I kept you here for a reason. Look at that. Look at that coal. Alright. Oh, sweet charcoal. Let's see how many stacks of this stuff we get. Oh, such a glorious day. And the fact that it uses proper gravity and isn't just falling over in piles is so beautiful. I love it. This is how shoveling coal should feel. Yeah. It sure does take a little while, though, when you've got this much volume of it. I mean, look at all that strewn on the ground, and that's not even counting what I've already picked up. There we go. It's all dug up. That is 8 and just shy of a quarter stacks. Look at all that. That's beautiful. That's so much charcoal. Now let's get our steel furnace up and running and get ourselves one step closer to that chrome tanned leather. I keep calling it chrome tan leather. It's called sturdy leather in-game. But I mean, let's be honest, it's chrome tan. Also, I just want to point out, this is what happens when I relog to the lighting here. I do have to adjust these blocks above the eyebrows, and then the glow affects the room again. I don't know if that actually has any bearing on the light level. I think these are still illuminating the space from a technical standpoint, even if we can't visually see the light. That's the sound it looks like he makes. Just Alright, enough goofing around. Let's do this. And we're gonna put some charcoal and some ingots and some charcoal and some ingots, and we're gonna keep layering this like a lasagna. Coffin lids. Coffin lids. Excellent. Okay, receives heat. Do we have the refractory bricks needed to finish this one off? 21 blocks missing. The door is 2 of those. Let's make our grates first. And then as many of these as we can. Which is not a lot. Oh, we're surrounded. I don't happen to have any hidden refractory bricks hiding out in the kitchen, do I? I had a few hiding out in the masonry lodge, but I don't think I've got any more sitting in here anywhere. Nope. Okay. Got beanades, though. Alright. Oh, you get out of my home. We'll just put together as much as we can of the second steel furnace. The grates in place there. 17 blocks, and I've only got 10 to make this happen. Okay. There. There. Just need 4 refractory brick blocks. Do I not have any more? Seriously? I've got so much fire clay. I blame you, Bloomeries. You did this. Oh, I see. I never finished picking up everything from the last batch. Alright, let's pop these shingles. Just right here. Why not? I'm sure we'll find a use for them at some point, probably in the near future. It's kind of just been a little bit of a game of trying to do one thing and have to do 2 other things before doing the one thing, and then having to do 2 things before each of the other 2 things before doing the one thing. And then we're kind of just letting the tasks expand, but I mean, that's partially the name of the game in all honesty. And plus it's that time of year, you know, get those spring chores all done. 3 more vessels and we'll have this place all full, 4 more vessels rather. So if we want to focus on getting that second steel furnace up and firing, there's a couple different options. One, we start firing more refractory bricks, which may or may not require a little bit of a resource run. I'd have to double check my supply, specifically of olivine, which I guess there's some right down near in the lava hole, so I could have just gone for that the last time. Alternatively, we could cannibalize some of the ceramics kiln, temporarily, of course. Well, as I contemplate that, I'm actually going to go double check our stock of supplies, because honestly, I'd probably actually rather just make more bricks rather than take from an already completed build just to temporarily build one where we still honestly have to make the iron door. So we've got plenty of bauxite. That's no problem. Good bit of fire clay. Gemstones, we've got all of it. Quartz would be the one thing we'd have to go get. And our pickaxe is looking a little worse for wear. Do we have a spare? We have a spare head. Beautiful. Look at me planning ahead. Hey, flax. Okay, do I have a stick on me? I don't. I'm going to want to clear some of this up. We don't have room. This is going to become our little charcoal chest. We're going to pop that away over by where we're going to need it. I was wrong. That is actually quartz. Well, all right then. How many iron blooms do we have? 3. That's not going to be enough. Oh, and I need those 16 for the batch. Oh, we're going to have to make more iron blooms? Yes, I think we will. We're actually going through the stuff at a decent rate now. We're going to have to do stuff. Things, even. So, we might not be able to get the second one firing, but we can at least make the components to get it all up and running. And then start another batch of iron blooms. So we'll actually have something to put in there. So these 12 of these ingots are going to get turned into the door for our second steel furnace. That was the quickest, absolutely the quickest I've ever made plates. Especially 6 plates. That fast. There we go. Just 4 blocks are missing up top. How are we looking? Close. Any of the stacks getting dangerously low? We got 3. We got 5 on that one still. Okay, 3, 2 on a couple of them. Okay. Okay, not bad at all. I think we are good on the amount of fuel we've got down there, because these need just under half an hour, I think. Pretty sure 2 hours is the timer for these to finish cooking, but hey, you know, I've never been wrong before, have I? Don't answer that. While that's finishing up, so I'm going to grab some more hematite nuggets here. We're going to fire up a batch of blooms, just so we've got a little bit more material for our next batch of steel. Let's just get these all filled up and fueled up and then fired up. As I have forgotten to eat, I need to go grab food. Get so caught up doing chores, I forget to consume food. You know, spring's a busy time. We've had a nice slow winter, not a lot of extra chores to do. So it's kind of nice to be really busy. Are we? Yeah, we're out of peat there. What if I put a small bit of charcoal? We'll see how that plays out. Who's growling? Oh, there's a man inside. What did you do? How are you in there? Want me to cook you alive? I'll cook you alive. Okay, we've got charcoal already done. We've got several stacks. We're going through it pretty quick, though, with all this, but we've got 8 bloomeries firing. We've got our bricks firing there in preparation to finish the steel furnace. And once those iron blooms are done, we can turn them into ingots. So once the bricks are done and we finish the steel furnace, we can take the iron blooms, make them into ingots, pop them in there, make steel, and then use more of the charcoal to fire that into steel. And once we've got our batch of steel, then we can make our steel powder caps and take those powder caps, put them on the pulverizer, use a pulverizer to crush the chromite to make crushed chromite that we can then mix with our sulfuric acid. And then once we've got that, then we can cook our huge scraped hides in the chromium sulfate. And then we have our sturdy leather. One thing I should check though, how much sturdy leather do we get from a huge hide? 6. We have 6 of those. That will be 36 leather. Is that enough? Backpack. We're going to need 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 10. So we need 40. We're going to be 4 short. Oh, we're going to be 4 short. What a cruel, cruel world. Although luckily, getting the steel pounder caps is really kind of the big hurdle. And that's mainly only because we've been neglecting steel making a little bit here in favor of building, which I would say has been 100% worth it. Absolutely. But it means once we've upgraded this, we can just crush the chromite. Well, everything else is going to get a lot easier from there. We're just going to have to hunt down some more bears. How's this looking? They're still going away. The coal is lasting a lot longer than the peat. Maybe the peat just wasn't good. I'm gonna stick to wood and charcoal for this from here on out. The peat really did not seem to go very far. So once again, as I wait for several things here to cook, I'll see you when all the fires have died down and we have ourselves some materials to work with. These are all fired. And they're glowing hot. Okay, so I really only need a few. Didn't even need that many. Okay. Let's pop those in place. I have some extras, and I have a lot of extra brick. But hey, that's going to be good. The structure's complete. Now we just need the ingots to pop in there. And these are done. No, they're not. They're not done. But they are. What temperature are these? These are still up at 900, I think. If we go quick, we might be able to process a good chunk of them until they go cold. Come on. This is productivity time, right at the tail end of the year. Ooh, can't dilly-dally, they're getting cold. Well, at the very least, before they got too cold, we got all 16 that we're going to need for our next batch of steel, and 2 extras. Pop those there. Pop the extra 22 iron blooms there, plus the 8 we have there. That's 30 more blooms to get through. And charcoal. Need 32 for below. Not nearly that much for inside, but hey, you know, let's do the thing. And we're just gonna fill this guy up right here. And I realize we're gonna have to do a little bit of chiseling because we don't have a fueling station down here, like the one we have here. Let's go see if we have 8 shale cobblestone to mimic what we have on the other side. Cutting it down to the wire, we've got one more day until the end of the year, and we're going to get our second batch of steel running, or second concurrent. Simultaneous? That's the word. Simultaneous batch. Not second ever, just our second batch of the current load. Where am I going with this? Let's pop these bricks in here. The mortar in there. The peridot stones in there. The rot in there. Shale cobblestone. Just need 8 of you, sir. And we're gonna wanna, not that one, the used pantograph. Chisel. And I've got my hammer. Eat my little onion snack. Finish off this crock here as it's 33% spoiled. And we've got ourselves a temporal storm on the way. Which I think, honestly, I might sleep through this one. What? Get off of the coffin. I want you to come back in here, sir. Because I think this will be funny. Sir? Sir, please come back in. It'll be hilarious, trust me. Ready to be fired. Yeah, he's dead. There's another man down here. Is this room not bright enough? Is it too dark? Probably. Or is it this stairwell? The stairwell does get absurdly dark right in that middle portion there. I might have to put some lights down below. But okay. Okay, we've got a lot done so far. I should try making a batch of coke. I did get a comment regarding these coke ovens. Somebody tried to recreate them, and the coke never got made. The coal they put in just simply burnt up. So I'm going to double check that this actually functions as it's intended to. Light that up, close the door, and we'll wait and see what happens to it. Because I remember quite some time ago seeing a tutorial video on the coke ovens themselves, and in that video, I'm starving again, sorry. In that video, they were able to be chiseled even down to basically a single voxel and still function just perfectly fine as long as you started with fire clay bricks or refractory bricks. Yeah, I'm gonna go grab more food. But if something's changed in the meantime, it'll be good to know so I can adjust that design to make it functional again. If it does work though, anyone who's copying that design, just be sure that you start with fire clay or refractory clay bricks before you chisel them. Because that's kind of the key component of it. Those are already quite spoiled. These aren't lasting all that long. I made these a little while ago, and the heat of spring is starting to make them go bad. Yeah, those are almost spoiled, and these are good for days. Okay, I should probably seal up some of those crocks, but I need the beeswax. I'm gonna need more beeswax. I gotta harvest bees, because I need beeswax for waxing the chrome-tanned leather. I almost forgot about that part. Good thing it's spring. How many skeps do we have? Not enough. This is an episode of a million different tasks. Cattails, we got some, but probably not enough. We've got a little bit of time before the storm hits. I can maybe go gather some more. Alright, and how are things growing? They're going. They're kind of growing. Let's grab ourselves a bit of clay and slap some skeps together. We can get a little bit more honey with some more beeswax. Alright, bees. You're gonna have some new neighbors.
Some new apartment complexes ready to be moved into.
Alright, I'm good with that, yeah. We'll just let these guys populate, and then we'll harvest them once they've, well, spread around. I'll have to keep a little bit more on top of the bees, since we're probably going to need more beeswax going forward. And I really wouldn't mind being able to seal crocs just a little bit more liberally, especially now that we've got some food that's getting preserved. It's going to last for a long time, and if we seal those crocs, well, we're going to have many, many years of food stocked up, and that's going to be fantastic. So I won't have to worry about cooking very often, or even growing particular crops for more food if we just have a whole bunch of preserves. Although once all this flax is done here, depending on how much more we need, based on the last few sales, what little bits we need for clothes and clothing repairs, as well as a sale for an eventual sailboat that we're going to have to start working on the docks next year. By next year, I mean probably next episode, because that'll be the start of our new year. Oh boy. Right. Storm is imminent. I should probably sleep if I'm gonna sleep through it. Just gonna eat my rotten carrots here. They're not very filling or tasty. These are good for a few more days. Let's just have our last batch of rotten carrots. Gross. Pickled vegetables are well underway. The meat is almost halfway there. We're doing okay. We're doing quite okay. It is high rift activity out there in the dark of the night. That's a lot of men at our door. Oh. They're gonna try and shoot us on the... Ah! They can shoot us at the balcony. Okay. Okay. Whew. Alright, Botorn, you've made your point. Let's evacuate the home and go check on progress over at the workshop here as we prepare to round out the last moments of our third year. How are we doing on fuel? It's going. It's going okay. Carburization, 34. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. And the new batch, 9. Okay. So. Wait a minute. It's spring. Let's get out of these winter clothes. Don't need no fur-lined nothing when there's no snow and ice about. We're in a nice warm season now. Okay, clothing. Let's pop our wrist back on. Pop that over there. Take that off. Put our boots back on. There we go. That looks proper now. Now back to the workshop. So, what a year it's been, huh? Got a whole bunch of progress done on the castle throughout several building stints. Broken ground on the docks and got a little bit of a plan in place for what that's going to eventually look like, as well as a little bit of a storehouse that's going to be there. A customs house, if you will. We also took on the Resonance Archives and got started on the main story of the game. And of course, once I get a few more gears, we're gonna go get an elk and make a long trek out and complete the rest of the story. And from everything I've seen, hopefully I'll survive. And for each of those, I'll try to keep any story-relevant stuff contained to singular episodes. That way it's easy for people who want to avoid spoilers to, well, hold off on that episode until you've experienced it for yourself, and then you can come on back without having missed much outside of that. Although with most of the story content, I'm presuming going to be several hours of travel, I don't think there'll be much of anything interesting going on there, so keeping it all contained to single episodes should be fairly simple. But beyond that, last and not least, for what we've gotten accomplished this year, how can we forget the workshop? Oh boy, was that a lot of work that we got done. I should get sick more often. Just kidding. I really shouldn't. But I do get a lot of building done when it happens. It's weird how that works. But in any case, I just want to thank each and every one of you so much for following along with this journey. I hope you're enjoying the ride. I sure am. And I'm super excited to continue working on the castle and keep going on a lot of these big projects we've got on the go. Maybe, just maybe, like I said at the end of last year, maybe we'll finish the farmhouse's second floor? That much neglected upper floor where the bedroom and some sort of living room type area is? Maybe that'll get done. Maybe I'll call in some external help for interior decorating, who knows? I have thoughts, nothing concrete. I don't even own concrete. What? But as the sun shines above on this glorious final day of our 3rd year, thank you all so much once again. I hope you've enjoyed it. And a super special shout out to all of our channel members. Thank you all so much for your continued support. You're all the greatest. You mean the world to me. I've had a blast. And I can't wait to see you at the start of our next year. So you take care. Have a wonderful morning, evening, day, night, other type of time that exists outside of a regular 24-hour cycle. You do you. And remember, be safe, be seen, wear a safety vest. I don't know what you're doing, but wear a safety vest anyway. It couldn't hurt. And I'll see you all very soon.
Bye-bye.
I remember seeing in a montage. Am I missing? Oh. That's not right. Yeah, it's supposed to look chiseled in like that. How did that get past inspection?